going to stand for our congregational affirmation. And we're going to affirm that together.
I know and affirm that the laws which way I walk in gratitude. Nothing in me is resistant to its mighty power that works miracles in my life. We harmonize to the song of love beating our being and allow its full expression in all of our affairs. And so it is.
All right, we're trying to do number 21 here.
Number 21. What's that? Which one was that?
The sunshine of my soul today.
Well, we had it a moment ago.
Oh, yeah, just 21.
Okay, I guess not.
We can just wing it.
I'll give you a choice. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful?
What number is
Or, can somebody look that up? How could anyone ever tell you it's in the, actually in the past?
I don't know.
Wonderful words of life, or I live in the kingdom of life.
Whoever can find the numbers.
This one is marked with chords.
This one's marked with chords.
Number 50 is I live in the kingdom.
Yes, and I have that one in Wonderful Words of Life. I have that
Okay.
one. Thank you so much.
So which one do you
Let me
want?
find Wonderful Words of Life. That's a good one.
Wonderful Words of Life is 190.
190.
Nothing if we're not flexible.
All right.
Got it.
Too much. Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Let me more their beauty see, wonderful words of life. Words of life and beauty, teach me faith and duty. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Words of life for all mankind, wonderful words of life. Bring comfort and peace of mind, wonderful words of life. Promises to cheer me, words I treasure dearly. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life.
All right, we did it. Stay standing just for a minute more. We're going to do our opening prayer together. Unity of Boerne.
Is a vibrant, loving,
spiritual community,
providing a sacred space for personal growth.
We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Please be seated. There's a prayer card. I know there's been an order of service. We're going to give you a minute to fill those out. We're going to bring that. Who can I convince to bring the prayer card?
Together, we are loved. Individually, we are loved. When that love comes together in this way, in this manner, it can only bless everyone, including the ones that have requests in this box that we may not know of. We may not know what they're going through, what their challenges and what their celebrations are, but we know and affirm right now as we pray that God's perfect will be done in the lives of these dear ones. Infinite Holy Presence, we give thanks that we're able to come before you, before your graciousness, and affirm positive, life-affirming words over the requests that are represented in this box. We know that your will is being done because the heart is open, receptive, and ready to receive its good. We affirm that now. We believe that now, that these dear ones have the choice and exercise to that will to turn towards you in love and light and be blessed in all they do and all they say. We give thanks that this is being done even now, and so it is.
So today happens to be Celebration Sunday. So maybe you've had a birthday, an anniversary, you like the weather, your team made it to the Super Bowl. You're really gonna shut me out here?
Oh, I have some.
No, couple. You made a new friend, finally got rid of an old friend. All right, young lady. Your name. Around. We can celebrate.
I got my personal trainer credentials this week, so I'm now certified by a national certification group of personal trainers.
Huh. Very nice. Your name.
There we go. My name is Chris,
We're celebrating.
and the last day of this month I will have completed another trip around the sun.
Very nice. All right, young man.
Howdy.
Your name.
There we are.
Yeah.
My name's Rick Taylor,
Are you celebrating?
and as usual, I'm up here because I'm celebrating being here with all my friends. And I can't think of a better day of the week than Sunday morning. So that's it. I feel blessed.
Your name.
My name is Esther, and I'm celebrating the sun, and it's getting a little warmer, and we survived the cold part very well. And also I'm celebrating that we really recently met a really interesting young man who we just picked up kind of, I don't want to say from the street, but he was living in a really kind of RV type, vehicle. And this young man was just so totally amazing. Like what a free spirit. And he has really gifted us with a couple of days of wonderful talks and openness and sharing love, and we got both some sound healings from him, and anyway, so we are really, blessed to have met this beautiful young man.
What's his name?
His name is Tim Roger. You probably know him.
Does it say love, light, joy?
Yeah, yeah.
He's coming to my house on Monday.
Oh, yeah, we have to talk. No, really amazing guy. You know him?
Yeah, I just met him at HEB.
Oh, yeah,
He's coming to do Reiki on me on Monday.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, yeah, wonderful. Anyway.
If you've never been to Rick and Esther's, it's worth the trip. So he found a good place to be.
The paradise.
Your name.
My name is Harmony.
Tell them all the names of your brothers and sisters.
I have three sisters.
3 sisters.
So in order, all of our names are Heaven, Harmony, Hope, and Harvest.
Wow, that's beautiful.
What are you celebrating?
Today I am celebrating self-discovery and uncovering and releasing limiting beliefs, which is heavy work, but it feels good. So, yay.
Hey.
place my trust in my Father, my family's life, and freedom, and my Father's hands, especially tomorrow. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, young lady.
Thank you.
Your name?
I'm Christina,
What are you celebrating?
and I'm celebrating being in a season of reimagining totally what's possible for me and learning the utter value of support and community and reaching out.
I want to let everybody know between Harmony and Christina, they've lowered our median age by about 2 decades. Hold your hands up to these fine people, wave your finger and say, we honor your celebrations.
We honor your celebrations.
And we're assured the best is yet to come.
We're sure the best is yet to come.
Yeah. Special music, it might be really special, we don't know.
So at times, when we're challenged, I think it becomes clear to especially people who gather in the spirit that we tend to gather every Sunday, and oftentimes on the internet during the week, that the one answer comes back to, anybody want to help me out here? What's the answer to everything?
Love.
So let's go ahead and put a little bit of that in our hearts. Okay? Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. If you see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day go by, still children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know, we won't let hatred go. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. And put a little love in your heart. Come on now. Put a little love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide, kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Come on, everybody, put a little love in your heart. Come on now, put a little love in your heart. Oh, put a little love in your heart. Let's put a little love in our hearts. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here, being you. I'm celebrating you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you able to hear all right?
Yes.
This morning, I chose for topic acceptance. Well, actually, I chose it about a month ago, because I do these a little bit in advance. And then I find that as I make the message title, that there are things that come up and fill the space that I want to talk about even as the days go by. I have the idea, and then I commit it to paper, and then certain things happen to occur that fill out that sermon title, message title, whatever you want to call it. Well, it's interesting that this Sunday is acceptance because, as you'll see, I have one eye covered because of a persistent eye that I have to accept and don't want to. And the doctor says it doesn't matter your time. And I said, what matters is God's time. He agreed with that. And so in this time, I'm putting this on for healing, and I appreciate your love and the energy that comes from all of you. You've healed me so many times and done so many wonderful things. We do that in this church, the love that really is the tie that binds us. So I found out that not only did I make the title acceptance, I had to do some practicing on that. And one of the things that I wanted to start out with this morning was, we know a very, very famous prayer: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Let's go back halfway. God grant me the serenity to accept. If we all prayed that prayer, individually or collectively would be more powerful. If we stopped right there, we'd be halfway there. We could see changes occur in ourselves and our lives because we are declaring that we're open, that we will affirm the serene part of us to accept those things that we cannot change or that we do not like in ourselves, in other people, in events, in the world, whatever it may be. We're always dealing with ourselves. I can't make, nor would I want to make my neighbor think something differently. I wouldn't want to control. I have enough trouble sometimes controlling myself. I don't need to have the control over others and what they think. What I have to do is concern myself with my level of openness and acceptance. And each one of us here today has to do the same thing. You decide, as the author of your experience, what you will accept about yourself, about others, about your world. There are some things that we can't help but accept. Weather conditions, climate, the world that we call out there. But do you realize that each of us form this world out there by what we think collectively? If you look around at the energy and the vibration that certain people and organizations emanate, you know that that is true. Some, we say, vibrate to a lower frequency than others. Some energy we call high, and sometimes it's in the middle. And we receive that energy, be it for good or ill, if we haven't set our own expectations of ourselves. And how do we do that? By saying, this is what I will accept in me. Now, what barriers do you have that would prevent you from receiving the wonderful energy that comes from those that are vibrating the way you would like to? What blocks do you have in you this morning that have prevented you from receiving and the blessing and being all that you can be? I would say number one is our unforgiveness at ourselves. It always begins with us. Realize we can't forgive anyone else if we haven't done it for ourselves. You see how it comes back at a circumlocution that life is really an inside-out proposition. You have to live in a state of forgiveness in order to accept the things that you cannot change. Serenity, as in the prayer speaks of serenity. Serenity implies the calmness of spirit, the majesty of calmness, as William George Jordan said. And when we're calm, and when we're centered, and when we know who we are, we're able to walk into that truth in this world and make a difference, first for ourselves and then to others. I'm not saying that it is a selfish thing to look after ourselves and center ourselves. I'm saying it's a vital thing. And if someone calls that selfish or points a finger at you for doing what I call self-care, let them do it, because all change starts here. We can have things out there that we want to manipulate. We can band together in large groups with all kinds of different energies and say we're going to change that. But if it's not done first in ourselves in love and harmony, chaos will result. As within, so without, as above, so below. The kingdom of heaven is order, truth, harmony, peace, wisdom, courage, peace of mind, and acceptance. Those are divine attributes. And when we walk away from those inside ourselves through judgment of ourselves or other people or events without accepting what is there, we suffer. Now, what is acceptance really? Does it mean that you like, approve, condone what's going on? No. You just simply say, it is what it is. And I choose to bring my loving energy to this circumstance and ask my higher self, what would I have seen in my life or seen in this situation right now? What is it that I want to experience the most? Each of us have different expectations of life, but the expectations we have of ourselves mirror what we're going to get out there. And if you don't think that's true, look at the people that you know who have a predominant mindset that attract continuously events that correlate with that mindset. They're perfect reference to things that are going on in their own lives, in the people, situations, places, and things that they attract to them. So the acceptance idea is the most valid to begin with, to me, in the authentic spiritual experience. To say, I accept myself and my life, and I accept what's going on right now out there, and I am in harmony with myself. And whatever I have to forgive, to be consonant with the ideas of love, peace, and goodwill that I would like to see projected outward, I will do this work on me. And what is this work? You know, we don't like the word work sometimes, but there is light work. And I'm saying light with a capital L. The light work is the work of forgiveness of yourself. Accepting things as they are and you as you are, and saying not only do I accept them, I can also grow. You see, sometimes acceptance is like the terminus. We say, well, I've accepted it and that's all right. No, that's the perfect jumping off point for what you want to experience, for what you want to be, for how you want to live. Once you've accepted a situation inside yourself or in something else out here, you have the frame of reference now to view that through a different lens. You're not going to be angry anymore, or you won't be as angry as you were. This is a process. We don't go from night to day all at once. There is a gradual awakening, and there is a gradual awakening for each one of us in this room today if we choose to hold on to these truths that I'm speaking. And they're not mine. They're the truths that go back to the time of creation. We are what we think we are. We've heard that so many times. As I've said before, the great broadcaster in the 1950s, Earl Nightingale, said, we become what we think about. Marcus Aurelius said, men become similar to the things they contemplate. The Buddha said it. You could go all around this world and find people in harmony with the idea that we become what we think about. We also become what we don't forgive and what we don't accept. How does that work? Because that energy that we're holding on to begins to create a similar situation inside us. So when I say be open to life and all that it presents you, and open yourself to that, I mean just that. And when you're doing it from a place of love and acceptance and peace, you're going to find your life works better. You've seen people that have their chin out and walk stoically through life and say, I've got to get through it, I've got to get through it, one more day, one more day. And what happens is they're racing their motor, they're tiring themselves out, and they become not good for themselves or anyone else. One of the 3 cardinal principles that I believe in New Thought is take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And just so long as I don't leave you wondering what the other 2 is, use everything for your upliftment, advancement, and growth, and take care of yourself so you can take care of others. You see, what I'm talking about is not a creed, it's a way of life. Creeds are wonderful to establish who we are, perhaps in what we're saying we believe. But I also believe that life is an evolving creed. We have certain truth principles that their applications are going to be different given differing situations, differing times in our lives. I know that I'm not the same man at my age now than I was at 18. Thank God. And I think a lot of us agree that too. And I'm not the man I was at 25 or 35. And that's good because now I can look back through the prism of experience and see why it is I had to go through what I did. And you know, most of it was based on my level of acceptance. What I would tolerate, what I wouldn't tolerate, what I forgave, what I didn't forgive, what I held against myself, and what I released against me. In large part formed my experience. But for better or worse, I'm right here and I love it. So I look back and I bless it. And if today you're in a place that you don't love or appreciate, you need to bless the lessons that brought you here and say, I can chart a new course in my life by accepting the situation as it is and knowing that I'm at choice. I'm at choice to make something different happen in my life. And how does that work? Well, when you accept, when you have the serenity to accept, you're open, you're teachable. And I believe that the truth resides in every one of you. There's a word, a Latin word called educare, which means to draw forth from within. I believe that's the best way of teaching. As some people say, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. And I feel the very same way, and I've sat through a lot of them. And have given a lot of them. Over the 17 years that I've been in ministry, I've seen all manner of things talked about from people who stand where I'm standing. And it always comes back to one thing, the acceptance of the now, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and being open to a new way of living, being, creating. What has to occur this morning inside you to have this life more abundant than the one that we properly honor talked about 2,000 years ago? The one who said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. That was quite a sentence to say. That was quite a different way at looking at spirituality, or I should say religion back then. Because the one that we talk about, the master teacher Jesus, upset apple carts all over the place. He didn't mind walking in to places where everything had been done a certain way, all for many, many years, and say, this isn't right. The Sabbath was made for man and not, Sabbath was made to be recreative and not because God commanded that he be worshipped like an ego-driven potentate. There was never a time that Christ Jesus demanded that someone fall on their knees in his presence, although often many times they did out of thankfulness. Gratitude, love, the things that were stimulated inside people that came across his path. And as he walks across the path of your mind this morning, or whoever you call this wonderful spirit that we know for good exists, is that comes across your mind this morning, what challenges you? What comes up inside you that says, I can give this up and walk higher. I can move to a different beat if I resonate and allow my spirit to resonate with what it is that I want, what I see that is the highest in me, what is the best in me that I can give to myself and to my world. That's a personal discovery for each one of you. Sometimes it's the work of a lifetime. Sometimes you get to a certain place and realize that you dedicated years to something and it's exactly the way you really wanted it to turn out. And other times we look at things and say, I didn't really like that. What do you get to do? You get to accept the situation. And when you do that properly and you forgive yourself or the others involved, you get to chart a new course. Nothing is set in stone about you except that you are God's beloved child and that you are love incarnate and that Jesus was not the great exception, he was indeed the great example. And he never condemned anyone. He lived in a state of forgiveness and grace. And he said, these things I do, you will do because, and greater, because I go to the Father. Think about that. Calling us, pulling the word, educare, out of us, saying, you'll do greater because I go to my Father. That's quite a promise. We can live up to that promise if we drop limiting ideas about who we are. What limits you this morning? What can you not accept in yourself or someone else or something else or someplace else? What is the primary blockage in you right now? And whatever that is, that could be between you and yourself, you and a confidant, you and a therapist. I don't know and I don't want to know. What I want you to know is that you can overcome this by the power of choice, by acceptance, and what underlies all this that I'm talking about, there's a big one, under acceptance. It's really the foundation of it all, and without this that I'm going to tell you, everything we do is valueless, and that is forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself, forgiveness of others. You do that. You do that every day for a week. And you'll find the peace and serenity that comes over you will be something like you've never experienced before. Just to live the love that you are and touch other people with that love. That's what we're called on to do. We're not called to beat people over the head, tell them that they're sinners, that we're angry at them, they're wrong, they're doing it the wrong way, they need to do it our way. That's how insecurity talks. And we're not insecure. We're not insecure people. We're people that know the truth. And the truth is love works, forgiveness works, and out of that, acceptance will come. But it's a process. Can you love yourself through this process? Can you look yourself in the mirror and say, I accept you. I accept everything about me in a mirror. I've done that many times. Louise Hay called it mirror work. It was uncomfortable to begin with. And now I don't know what I'd do without it because the affirmations are my daily dozen of how I'm going to have my day work, how it's going to come out. And by and large, it does. Standing before a mirror with this thing on my eye was not the funnest thing to do, but I accepted it. It came to pass, not to stay. And so that's all right. I accept my healing. I accept the love for it. And I know that it will be done as I believe. It's a temporary setback. And that's okay. What do you have to do this morning inside you to experience the life more abundant? What do you have to accept? Not only the things that you don't like, that I talked about earlier, you have to accept the things you want. You have to believe in your inherent worth to get them. You have to say to the great universal power that's there, I accept my divine right to, and you fill in the blank. And when you do that, you start lining your personal energy up in the pursuit of what it is that you want. And you're also living a state of forgiveness and love. You're going to be open to the divine impulses that tell you you can course correct here, there, as you go down the path. It's not so important that you have a rigid plan, but it is important to have some sort of plan at the beginning that says, this is more or less what I want to experience. And I've watched that in my life. As I do that, it comes more and more into focus as I get used to living it more and more every day. I ask you to have a grander opinion of yourself. See yourself as you really are. Accept the truth about you. Not only just accept those things that you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can. And then when you do that, you get the wisdom to know the difference. That's why I believe the prayer is set up that way. They all, it's three legs, the acceptance, forgiveness, they all work together. The acceptance, the forgiveness, and the courage. They're all interchangeable when you think about it, and love is at the base of every one of those words. So far from being impractical or idealistic, no, love is the way we walk in gratitude. And we get to choose that. We get to choose that in place of our judgments and in place of the things that we can't accept about ourselves and other people. You're a choice. You have the ability to reach out for this life that I'm talking about this morning. And when you do, and you get a taste of it, you'll wonder why it was ever so important to hang on to the limiting ideas that you had about yourself, the concepts that you lived, that were usually told you by someone else who had a vested interest in keeping you acting the way they want you to. Fear does that. We don't live in fear. We live in love. And as we matriculate in that arena, best of all, the loving space, as we do that, we raise each other up. Hurt people hurt people. I'm sure some of you have heard that. Hurt people hurt people. Blessed and happy people are there that want to lift others up because they have seen the truth inside themselves and they're ready to mirror that to others. It's an exceedingly unselfish way to live. It may look selfish to begin with when you talk about self-care, but when you get to fruit each other, it's remarkable. And all of a sudden, you're carried along as if life is light, your light is a feather. It's felt down. And that's something we can talk about for another day. I ask you, look inside yourself, accept those things about you so that you can change those things. What you run away from, you fear. There's nothing inside you to fear. Because beneath all those hobgoblins and shadows and all those things, there is a perfect light of love that shines within you. And let it shine. When it does, it blesses you and it blesses all the rest of us. Thank you this morning for being here. God bless each and every one of you. And I accept the best for you, and I expect the best for you, and I believe the best for you. God bless you.
In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many, it can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
In this sacred moment, in this now moment, we are aware of ourselves, sitting where we are. Perhaps our palms are upraised. And we feel the love that is in this room. We know it comes from inside ourselves and from other people inside themselves. And in this holy place, we uphold ourselves as one with truth and light and the essence of our being, love. As we inhale, as we take a deep breath, we feel the tension and anxiety float away from us. And we're reminded once more of who we are. We hear the ancient song. We know the melody. It may be drowned out by things that happen in the world, but we're familiar with it. Always calling us to be relaxed, to live in love. And as we let go of the lesser, we welcome the greater in our lives. And each one of us knows through the inherent wisdom of the Spirit within what is needed to make life all it can be. So we forgive ourselves in this wonderful place of truth inside, knowing we were never blamed. We put the obstacles there. And we release them now. And we embrace new possibilities for ourselves, for our lives. This is the day. Now is the time. We are the ones. As we forgive ourselves and others, we're also recreated right now by the love and the blessing of the Spirit inside us. And the reminder of the ancient song of truth that we know down deep who we are and whose we are. We're here to make a difference in our world. So we order our inner world on the basis of the truth of our being. And know without a doubt inside that God is good, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, and that what is true of God is true of us. We accept that. And as we accept that, the things that are lesser in us melt away like the dew in the morning sun. We are set up and restored. And where we need health and healing today inside ourselves, we take abundantly of it. Whether it be our mind, our body, our emotions, we drink deeply from the waters of spirit. This is our moment. This now moment. We accept the truth. We expect the best. And we forgive ourselves for ever having thought we were anything less than who we are. In this state of perfect peace, perfect relaxation, we accept our wholeness and we go to live that out all through this week. Blessed to be a blessing. Most importantly, love. And to show that first to ourselves and then to everyone we meet. We take another deep breath and center ourselves in the truth of those words and are abundantly thankful for this now moment that we claim. And so it is. Amen. Now we come to the time in our service to celebrate blessed law of life, give and receive, sowing and reaping, knowing that it's done to us as we believe. And I have an usher come, thank you, Rick. We know, and you know, we say this every week, Unity of Boerne depends on your free will love, offerings, and gifts, so that we can continue to do the wonderful ministry that we do that touches so many people. As you heard Brent say to begin with, we have offerings online, not only this church on Sunday, but many ways that we're reaching out, touching our community and effecting change for the better. If you would prefer to send your gifts into our church by mail, you can do so by writing Unity of Boerne, P.O. Box 1973, Boerne, Texas 78006. Again, that's Unity of Boerne, P.O. Box 1973, Boerne, Texas 78006. There's also a PayPal button at the bottom of the page of which you're watching. We so appreciate your gift. Know you'll be blessed for it. We love you for giving. Thank you so much. Together.
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive.
And together we say, divine love through me
between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think we'll shine?
Thank you for being here. The service is always more with you. You know, between one-night sermons, ad hoc music, and dying computers, I had a great time. So we're already, I kind of circled on Jay. Thank you for being here. Tom, you got us out again. Peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and always is.
And I rolled down my window because I'd seen them about a year ago. I said, "Remember was that you?" And they started talking about it. So those are awesome.
Oh, don't put a strange thing here. Come back on as well.
Oh, I didn't realize it was not Actually,
And from all of us here at Unity of Boerne, thank you for joining us for the Sunday Experience. I'm Tom Allen, and on behalf of our members and Reverend J. Mulkey, we wish you the best of weeks to come, and hope to see you in person real soon. Have a wonderful week.
My husband was kind of like